So my name is Scarlett Hiller. I am one of the franchise partners for Expedia Cruises. Our annual World Explorer event is being hosted by the six Expedia Cruises location in the Edmonton area, as well as our location in West Vancouver. We are coming up to 19 months of the date the travel shut down. If you are on this call, you love to travel and want to start exploring the world again. Travel fulfills us. That is why we do it. And if you are like me, you are missing it. The good news is that cruising has begun. Cruise ships started to sail this past June. We have now had 4 months of ocean cruise sailings in Alaska, the Caribbean, and Europe. And in July, river cruising also started sailing in Europe. Cruises are operating safely with the highest health protocols, and cruising is by far the safest way to travel. At the end of this September, we will have 50% of cruise ship fleets back sailing. So that's fantastic. At Expedia Cruises, we have had passengers sail recently, and they came back with raving reviews. They were thrilled to get back on board and have the wonderful experience that only a cruise can provide. I will say that travel is a little bit more complicated at this time. Now more than ever, the use of a professional advisor is needed. Our consultants are here to help you navigate these new complexities of travel and make sure your vacation is safe and seamless. What you will receive when you book with Expedia Travel with a travel advisor is the following: expertise. With hundreds of different cruise ships and lines, our travel advisors can help you find the right cruise for you. Pricing: you will never pay less booking directly with the cruise line. Many times booking with a travel agent will provide a better price. And then there's extras. Booking with Expedia Cruises, we block group space on hundreds of sailings and can offer you better pricing and amenities such as shipboard credits that booking direct with the cruise lines you will not receive. Information regarding passports, visas, entry requirements, COVID tests, vaccination protocols, we have that information. Assistance in emergencies or when problems occur, we are here to help. The ability to have your entire vacation planned and monitored by one person is especially beneficial. If you are ready to travel now, we are ready to help. We believe the time is now. We know that for some of you, the time is not right to travel at this moment, but the time is now to start planning for 2022, 2023 and beyond. Studies have shown that approximately 40% of the pleasure of a trip comes from planning one. There is a great deal of pent-up demand for travel, and we have 3 seasons of destinations postponed. Tours and cruises are filling up, and in many cases, space is limited. The last year has been very challenging, and sometimes what makes me smile is the thought of where I can go next. Our bucket lists have now become the to-do list. I can't wait to start traveling again. Whatever your dreams are, our Expedia Cruises travel advisors can help you make them come true. At Expedia Cruises, we are committed to finding you the best value for your travel dollars, and we are more than just cruises. Our name is Expedia Cruises, Air, Land, and Sea Vacations. We can help you plan all of the components in your vacation. Best of all, we are in your neighborhood so you can shop local. So now sit back, relax, and start exploring the world and dreaming of your next vacation. I'd like to introduce Cathy Denroche from Oceania Cruises, and she will be highlighting everything Oceania has to offer, along with highlighting Europe as a destination. So welcome, Cathy.
Thank you so much, Scarlett, and thank you so much, everybody. It's so wonderful for you all to be here with us, and we're so thrilled to have you. Do you know, I've been around for a very, very long time in the cruise industry. In fact, I started in 1975 with the Love Boat, and it's been a very exciting adventure. But I want to talk to you tonight because in 20 minutes, it's very difficult to get everything you want to hear about your cruise line, and you're going to hear from 3 spectacular cruise lines tonight. So I hope that you're sitting in your chair, you have a nice glass of wine or a cup of coffee or something, and you're just ready to hear about some of these beautiful smaller experiences that you can have. Well, I have to say, I've been with Oceania for 12 years now, and I love this little product because I was with Crystal for 18 years before Oceania, but Oceania came into being almost 18 years ago now, and they carved this niche in the middle between the premium, these big, beautiful ships in the premium market, and these small 6-star ships in the luxury market. And so we started a whole new niche called the upper premium market. And 3 things set us apart that are so incredible. I mean, if you'll hear from so many different cruise lines over the last 2 days. The entire group of Expedia here has brought to you some really great products. But I have to say what made Oceania so incredibly special 18 years ago is we set out to be different from anybody else. And the fact that we had, number one, the only reason anyone came to us in the first start of it, and actually the only reason people still do come to us at this moment for the very first time, is because we have some of the most incredible travel experiences ever. And we go all over the world in 7 days up to 180 days. And I'm just share with you about Europe tonight. But the reason we have very port intensive itineraries because we do them on small ships, and our fleet is incredibly small. We have 6 ships and just about to launch a 7th one in April of 23. So, you know, from 680 guests to 1,200 guests, that's a limit on each of our ships. So it means that we can get into ports that the big ships can't get into. And the third pillar we sit on is we are officially known as the cruise line for foodies. So it's not what makes you buy a holiday or a vacation on a ship, but it's what will make or break your trip. And it doesn't mean it's just about this gourmet luxury food. It's about the choice you have as a guest. So Oceania started out incredibly differently. We started out with these beautiful small ships that were 30,000 tons. It meant that if you don't know that kind of size, compared to the big, beautiful ships that you see with Princess and Celebrity and Holland America, that today 3 of my little ships could fit onto one of the big ships. So it's the choices we have as consumers that I love with cruising now. And the fact is that we're seeing a trend in the industry. The whole industry is seeing a trend for people to come on to a little bit smaller, a little bit more attention to detail, and also go for longer. They couldn't travel in 2020, so they decided, and really not in 2021 either, except for this next little month or 2 that's left in the year, but they decided they want longer voyages. And so we're seeing guests of ours come for 30 and 40 and 60 days. And so with our fleet, we have 6 beautiful ships. And as I say, about to have a 7th. And this is the Regatta Class. These are beautiful little tiny ships of 30,000 tons that were all re-inspired, taken right down to the gutters, basically over the last few years. And Oceania's great, I think, foresight of knowing that we have these gorgeous ships. They needed to be a little bit updated. They were already absolutely beautiful, but we decided that we wanted to make them into these beautiful little elegant homes away from sea. We have fireplaces on our ship, and they're just beautiful. And so with the Oceania class, when I came over to Oceania 12 years ago, here we had the Marina and the Riviera. This was a ship size I was used to selling over at Crystal, but I have to say this was kind of 1,200 guests, twice the size of our small ships. But it was twice the size in the fact that we had more dining rooms. We had bigger staterooms, things like that. And so every one of those 2 ships have been also re-inspired all during the pandemic. So it's been wonderful. And just a couple of weeks ago, we announced our Vista class, our new Allura class, which the ship is called Vista, and it's one of 2 ships coming out in April of 23. And she is just one of the most beautiful ships I have ever seen. So when I tell you about Oceania, some of the things that were very different about us is that we said, we're not going to have art auctions at sea. We're going to have original artworks up to $7 million on each of our ships that people can take an audiobox tour and see, live Picasso. They'll have choices in dining rooms, and we're not going to charge people to dine in our dining rooms. They're going to be complimentary. We're going to include shuttles when we come through different cities and around the world. So we started to think that we were going to be a cruise line that included the important things to travelers. So it wasn't all inclusive because we didn't want to be like that, but we wanted to be more inclusive than the big premier cruise lines. And that was something that created this niche called the upper premium. A little bit more attention to detail, smaller, but the fact is you had it your world, your way. That's our slogan. That's our motto in life, is we want people to have choices. So even when I tell you about the new Allura class, and I think, gee, this is even veranda staterooms that are private, solo staterooms. These are things we've thought of over the years, and we've got a very beautiful residential feel. When you come on board Oceania, our guests come back and they say, it was just the most exquisite experience. Your hardware is so beautiful, and everything, every detail on the ship, all the, amenities, everything are so incredible. But the fact is, without your people that work for you, that just makes it a 10 out of 10. And it's one thing I've heard over the years is people love it. So I was telling you a little bit about some of the things we include. And again, usually I take about 45 minutes to talk, but I really only have 20 minutes, and I do want to get to our itineraries for you. But things that we include are things that, again, are important to travelers. We don't want to charge you for lattes or London fogs or soft drinks or anything. So those are always included. We also have our fitness classes, our Pilates, our yoga. Every one of our guests can use our spa facility, and the only thing we charge for there is whether it's a massage or a facial or whatever you're doing, the service is there. But we teach classes, and we don't charge for anything like that. We decided that we would have open dining restaurants. We got rid of formal nights. We got rid of 2 seatings. We said we're going to be casual. We're going to be a nice casual, but we are going to also offer 24-hour room service. Things that, again, would be something considered to people, just something out of the, as expected. But in the luxury market, it's what is expected. And that's what I love about it. And so on our little ships, we have 4 dining rooms. 3 of them take reservations. They're complimentary, but we take reservations because we're small. We only have 680 guests on. In our Oceania Marina and Riviera, we have 6 restaurants, 4 of which are reservations. And on the Vista, there's going to be 12 dining rooms that you can choose from. So it's exciting. So you get a tiny bit of a feel for Oceania, what it's like in these exquisite ships. But then all of a sudden it comes to, well, what about big entertainment? Well, we are an edutainment kind of cruise line with entertainment involved. So we have this beautiful OLife enrichment, what I call it, the edutainment. Our guests are very curious people. They want to know what's going on. So every cruise, we have enrichment speakers. So up to 5 speakers and TED-like talks and things like that, plus an artist loft. So if you want to have a bit of culture, whether you want to learn how to paint or draw or whatever, that you can also do that. So we also have great entertainment. We have a show every night. We have music on the ships. We have live music and live bands and all sorts of things for you to keep your attention just absolutely at its peak. But at the same time, we also decided we wanted to be a cruise line that was full of curated travel experiences. And with that came a lot of enrichment. So I get the beautiful pleasure tonight to talk about Europe. We do go all over the world, from right around Australia, Africa, South America, everywhere you can imagine, right up to the top of Svalbard, that little gray blob at the top of your screen there. But what I love about Oceania is that when we do a cruise, we're very port-intensive, unique, adventurous itineraries. So I wanted to show you a few of our European itineraries tonight, because we actually have like 10 and 12 day cruises in Europe. But we actually build our cruises so they can be added with a back-to-back cruise. And I used to always say to the gang here at Expedia, why even go home? Just keep on board the ship. It's a fantastic experience. So when I show you this 14-day cruise from Lisbon to Venice, one of the things I love about it is it is very intensive. And you'll see that as you go along, you hardly have a day at sea. In fact, every European cruise of ours has only 1 day at sea. The rest is in port early and you leave late at night. We do Greek Isles. Our Canadian guests want to do France, Greece, and Italy. They never ask for Spain, but they're starting to ask big time for Greece and Holy Land. So we've got a Greek Isle cruise. We've got Holy Land. And see, this is just one itinerary on one ship. But because of our time restraint tonight, we have almost 16 different Holy Land cruises that start as well in Jerusalem. I'm going to show you a little bit about that. So they're gorgeous itineraries, and they're just incredibly built to be back to back. And this is an example I want to give you. Imagine this cruise from Rome to London. Now at Oceania, we include your air, your tax, your cruise. Out of Calgary, out of Edmonton, we charge a $250 air add-on Canadian to your fare, and we fly you either from Edmonton or Calgary right to Rome and home from London. And that happens on every one of our cruises. So we already start out as almost an inclusive cruise line just with air cruise tax. So look at this itinerary. So here we are, we're flying from Edmonton to Rome. I might want to talk to my Expedia person about extending my stay, which is inexpensive to do, and then maybe coming straight back or extending it on the end too. But when you look at these two cruises, one of the great things is we include Spain, and Spain is the less kind of road traveled, I always like to say, but it's one of the most beautiful countries that you could see. And Spain across with Portugal, I've done this cruise. It's a real foodie cruise. It's a beautiful cruise when you think of coming into Saint Malo, which is where our Jacques Cartier started from. There's a big statue of him. And of course, he was an explorer that came to find Newfoundland, and then into Bordeaux to see the chateaus or have picnics, or into Bilbao to see the Guggenheim Museum, and all the way around La Coruña, which is a UNESCO heritage city. It's absolutely beautiful. And then into Portugal to have a little bit of port wine, and then down to Cadiz where Christopher Columbus started out, and into Seville, seeing maybe some of the most beautiful museums, and then down into as far as Tangier and Malaga, and ending up in Barcelona. So we do this in reverse as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful itinerary. If you've never thought of it, maybe try and think about that. From London to New York, 18 days. This is a cruise that starts in Europe, comes right up into the British Isles, and then heads over to our very own St. John's, Newfoundland, and then into St. Pierre and Miquelon, and then over to St. John, New Brunswick, and all the way down through to New York. Stunning. So we have ships that carry from Europe over to the Americas. We go from ships that come from Europe all the way down to South America when we're kind of making a change to move to a different region in the world. Because we only have 6 ships in our fleet and they're small, we come in the peak seasons. Then I look at this and I go, okay, now we've got the Baltic. We come into St. Petersburg, and you know what's really cool about Oceania, everybody, is we actually literally stop and dock right in front of the Hermitage for 3 full days. So a beautiful itinerary of 10 days. We come in peak seasons, like I mentioned. So the White Nights Festival, this is one of the biggest festivals in Russia, with thousands upon thousands of light festivals and everything there. So we come in between June and July when this festival is on. You might decide you want to do a private evening excursion into the Hermitage. You might say, I want to do a culinary tour and I want to just have caviar and vodka and things like that. So we take groups of 14 and 16 guests. And so that's the Baltic. And we add those into some of the things like the Fjords of Norway. This is one of our most beautiful treasured sailings, going all the way up through the Norwegian fjords. And it's one of my very favorite. The sun does not go down for 18 days. This is the land of the midnight sun. And so this is a cruise that has the Baltic and the Fjords of Norway in it. So see what I mean about being able to tie in different cruises together. And so we go into these beautiful little ports, and with our small little tours of 14 or 16 guests, there's so many different kinds of things you can do. This is one of my new favorites for 2023. Of course, in 2022, we also have Europe, and that is really selling well. In fact, you're going to hear tonight that so much of 2022 is already sold out for guests. So I want to continue to make sure you talk to your consultant over at Expedia and have them look at the availability. And don't worry if you have to waitlist or anything. Things are going to change. Things are always changing all the time. But this is one of the great things about looking forward into 2023, when the world's back to kind of a beautiful normal again, is from London to Reykjavik, up into Iceland and over to the Faroe Islands with Runavik and things like that. So I love these northern itineraries. With Jerusalem, I was mentioning, you know, kind of a beautiful Holy Land cruise, but this is into the old Tel Aviv, the Jaffa, through the eyes of the locals. So we take you through there, into Cyprus, into some of these gorgeous, gorgeous itineraries. And even on some of these Spanish cruises, we take you on part of the El Camino into the old St. James Pass, so you get a chance to hike or walk. So we have something for everybody when it comes to very intensive, whether it's coming into the Holy Land or going into anywhere. You can do any kind of back-to-back sailings. The secret is it's a small ship taking you into places that the big ships can't get into. So when you see places like Cinque Terre, we come into Dubrovnik and things like that, it's fantastic. Now, very quickly, just want to tell you this itinerary. This is in 2022. So just as an example of a short excursion, we come into Marseille. We take 16 or 18 people off into someone's private 112-acre ranch. We do black truffle hunting with their dogs and then come back to their house for lunch. Or maybe you are a person that wants to see castles built on top of caves, and that's the Pistonia Castle in Kapor, Slovenia. So the value is really there. I could talk, because we're in Europe for 7 months of the year. It's so incredible. But the things that are included are the things that are important. And I want you to talk to your Expedia person about it. And with that, not only the air, the tax, the cruise, we added in a group of short excursions you could take, or a beverage package, meaning, you know, wine and beer at lunch or dinner, or for $20 a day, you can up that to a premium package of full premium liquor, or shipboard credit. So it's your world the way you want it. You don't have to have it all inclusive, but you always have a choice of what you want included. And this is what we call our OLife. And that's in addition to every single cruise we do. You have that choice of what you'd like. So this is the great part of it. I just want to say, take a look at Oceania. It's an amazing cruise. We've got lots of prepaid gratuities through Expedia. You've got a wine bundle if you book anything in the next, 2 weeks. The girls, the guys, the whole team at Expedia can tell you all about it. And wellness and health, all you have to do is go to the bottom of our webpage. Cruising is incredibly safe. As Scarlett said, it is the most safe of all the entities to cruise on. So remember what you love about travel. I'm going to stop sharing now, but I hope that you'll come to join us. And Scarlett, I'll hand it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Cathy. Great presentation.
Not long enough.
There was a lot of information to cover in your short window of time. You're getting off easy. There aren't any questions, but I want to thank Sarah for her comment. She said she loves the food and education on board Oceania.
Oh, that's so nice, Sarah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it is an amazing little cruise line. I think in my mid-60s here, I found this beautiful home and people just come over to Oceania and they love it. So if you've been on a big ship and you want something a little bit smaller, or you come from a luxury line and you just want an itinerary that's going to blow your socks off, that's what it is. So thank you so much. And everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful next session with Silversea. So I'll leave you to it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Cathy.
No problem. Come and join our family.
So travel is starting again. The time is now to start thinking about where you want to go in 2022, like Cathy said, and even into 23 and beyond. The cruise lines and tour operators have flexible booking policies, and there is no risk in your investment. We have lost 2 years of vacations, and with the high demand, we are already seeing some shortage of space. Thank you for joining us on this session.